The afternoon sun stretched across the quiet suburban street, its light glinting off the black hood of a luxury sedan that had just screeched to a stop. A man stepped out, slick hair, dark sunglasses, leather jacket that screamed arrogance. His name was Adrian Donnelly, son of a notorious businessman everyone in town simply called the Don. People usually stepped aside when Adrian walked by, but that day, on that quiet sidewalk, he stopped in front of something, or rather, someone who didn't even look up when he spoke. On the edge of the pavement sat a small wooden crate filled with bright red apples. Beside it, a young woman with tired eyes and trembling hands knelt beside her little girl. The girl, barely 6, wore a pastel pink dress and clutched one of the apples like it was gold. A cardboard sign leaned against the crate, "Buy my apples, to help my M." It was the kind of sight that could melt even a hardened heart, but not Adrian's. He sneered, stepped closer, and pointed his finger at them with disgust. "Before I tell you what happened next, take a moment if you believe in kindness, justice, and second chances. Please like this video, subscribe to Kindness Corner, and share it so stories like this keep reminding the world that compassion still exists." The woman's name was Sophia Hale. She wasn't always this broken. Once she'd worked at a small accounting firm, dreamed of building a better life for her daughter Maya. But when her husband abandoned them, and the company she worked for shut down, she found herself juggling rent notices, hospital bills, and a half-empty fridge. Selling apples at the corner of Maple Avenue wasn't her dream. It was survival. Every morning, she told Maya it was an adventure, but deep down each sale felt like a plea for mercy from strangers who rarely cared. That afternoon had been slow. A few kind souls stopped to buy apples, smiling politely, some even handing over extra coins. But then the black car appeared, roaring up with the kind of entitlement that made Sophia's heart skip. Adrian's voice sliced through the air like a blade. He mocked the sign, laughed at her trembling hands, and told her she was an embarrassment, that people like her made the neighborhood look poor. When little Maya tried to hide behind her mother, he stepped closer, towering over them, and one apple rolled away, bumping against his polished shoe. He kicked it aside. Tears welled up in Sophia's eyes, but she held her daughter close, whispering for her to stay calm. She didn't know why fate always seemed to choose them to humiliate. Maybe because they looked small, easy to trample. She tried to reason, saying they were only trying to make ends meet. But Adrian wasn't listening. He wanted to make a scene. He wanted someone to see the Don's son flex his power over those who had none. And someone did see down the road. The deep rumble of engines echoed like thunder rolling over the street. Heads turned. From the distance, a line of motorcycles gleamed under the sun, moving slowly, steadily. Their jackets were black, emblazoned with the unmistakable red and white insignia, Hell's Angels. 5 of them rolling in sync, each face hardened by roads, storms, and stories that the world never understood. Adrian didn't notice them at first. He was too busy shouting about people like you. But Sophia saw. She saw the way pedestrians stopped, the way the air shifted, and how even the wind seemed to quiet down when the bikers parked near the curb. The lead rider stepped off his Harley, a tall, broad man in his late 40s with a salt and pepper beard, slick back hair, and arms inked in full-sleeve tattoos that caught the sunlight. His leather vest read Hell's Angels on one side, RL. CHLLS on the other. His name was Reed. Reed didn't say a word at first. He just stood there watching the scene unfold. The mother kneeling, the child clutching her apple, and the arrogant man pointing his finger like he owned the world. Then he walked closer, the sound of his boots deliberate, echoing against the pavement. Adrian finally turned, scowling as the other bikers parked behind Reed like a silent wall. For a moment, there was only the sound of engines ticking as they cooled. Sophia's heart raced. She didn't know whether to be scared or relieved. Reed stopped beside her, looked down at the sign, then at Mia's small, tear-streaked face. He crouched slightly, picked up one of the apples that had rolled near his boot, and turned it over in his large, scarred hand, the same kind of hand that could crush a man or cradle a child. He glanced up at Adrian and said in a low, steady voice, "You think that makes you strong?" Adrian froze. The other bikers moved a step forward, not touching him, not threatening, but their presence alone made his confidence melt. Reed reached into his vest, pulled out a folded $100 bill, and placed it gently on the crate. "I'll take the whole box," he said, still looking at Sophia, not the men. "And if anyone else around here bothers you again, you let us know." Adrian tried to mumble something about not meaning any harm, but Reed's gaze was enough to silence him. The other bikers started unloading cash, too, 20s, 50s, stuffing them into the crate until apples were nearly buried beneath bills. One of them handed Maya a shiny red apple and smiled. "Keep selling, sweetheart," he said softly. "You're doing good." As they turned to leave, Reed looked back at Sophia and nodded once, not as a savior, but as someone who understood. Maybe once he'd seen hunger up close, too. Maybe that's why the angels rode the way they did, not for trouble, but for justice when no one else stood up. Adrian got back into his car without another word. His arrogance gone, his hands shaking on the steering wheel. When he drove away, the street felt peaceful again. Sophia exhaled for the first time in what felt like forever. Maya beamed, holding the apple tightly. "Mommy," she whispered. "They were like angels." Sophia smiled through tears. "Yes, sweetheart," she said. "Exactly like angels." If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe to Kindness Corner, where we believe that even in the darkest moments, there are still people who choose to stand up for what's right. Before you go, comment below. What would you have done if you saw that mother and daughter being threatened? As the bikers rode off into the sunset, engines fading into the distance, a quiet truth lingered in the air that real strength isn't measured by power or money, but by the courage to protect those who can't protect themselves. And on that small corner of Maple Avenue, kindness had just won.